Gemini, hello my darlings, how are you? Welcome to your reading for the week of the 8th of August 2022, or whenever you find me that is okay as well. So I'm going to pull out a card fairly well straight away, obviously, from the Chakra Insight Oracle deck, and then we will jump in a little bit more detail. Gemini, you have desires, goals, passion, craving, and fulfillment. Okay. So maybe this week we could look at what you are desiring. Now, this is a nice energy to tie us into talking about the Lionsgate portal. So the Lionsgate portal, it does peak on the 8th of the 8th, which is the day this will be uploaded. And you will have possibly been feeling the effects, and sometimes some of those effects coming into it can be a little bit intense, to say the least. But the Lionsgate portal, the peak of the energy is on the 8th of the 8th, and you will kind of feel and have the magic and the power that is associated with that portal right through until about the 12th of August. So you will see, in addition, a couple of pyramids. I've got some blue lotus oil here from Egypt. I've got a statue here of Sekhmet, the lion-headed goddess. Now, obviously, the Egyptians had a good understanding of the Lionsgate portal, and the Lionsgate portal is where Orion's belt, the sun, and Sirius all line up at the same time in terms of their relationship to Egypt. When Sirius would rise over the horizon and was able to be seen, this was when we would see the start of the flooding of the Nile. So it does bring in this sense of abundance and fertility and producing new things and creating magic as well. It's a very powerful energy, the Lionsgate portal. It's a good place to look at what it is that you maybe want to manifest. It's very important, and I talked about this in the collective reading that I did do on my channel as well. So if you are drawn, please drop in and have a look at that as well. But it is very important with this energy of manifestation that is so strong around this time, that we are very careful about our thoughts. We're very careful about our words and the energies that we're putting out at the moment, because if all of that's going into the portal, and it will be sent back to us, tenfold or more, So very important to look at what's going into that portal, because we want only the good stuff to go in so that we're getting all the great stuff back. Okay. And the other thing I will touch on before I move on, because it is slightly also related to this desires card, is that obviously it's in the sign of Leo. So Leo, it's also about finding your inner Leo. Okay. So finding that strength, that confidence, finding that passion, finding that, maybe even finding those desires. Okay. So there is a little bit of that energy as well. Where can you step into your authentic self? Where can you step into your own personal power? Okay. Obviously very much related to the solar plexus chakra as well. So I will continue. Sorry, that's just to give you a bit of a rundown on the Lionsgate portal if you haven't come across it before. Now I am going to pull a card from the Goddess Guidance Oracle card deck. I was going to say this deck has been a little bit hit and miss, but we do have one out for you. So let's have a look. You've got Cordelia, and the words on here are: go outside. You've been indoors too long. Go outside and get some fresh air. So obviously fresh air is extremely healing for us on so many levels. Okay. If you're like me in my part of the world, it's literally probably rained and it's freezing for the last 8 weeks, and I'm a walking on the beach kind of girl. So it really has affected my Leo who worships the sun. But, and I noticed personally, I've missed this going outside and being in the fresh air. And, I've had a little bit of congestion and a cold and that sort of thing as well. And I know that when I do go outside, even though it's freezing, it does help to clear things. Okay. It opens things up. So I am getting this message for some of my Geminis that this going outside could be more than a mental release. It could actually help you on a physical level. And it could help you in terms of opening things up, clearing airways, Obviously being in nature as well, we get the physical effects from that as well. We're breathing in the oxygen that the trees are producing for us, if you're into the beaches, the beaches are high in negative ions, and those help to clear any free radicals, and that helps to obviously helps us battle any disease or illness as well. So there's a lot of physical benefits. It's not only just mental benefits from going outside. Okay, so that's the message that is coming through for some of my Geminis. So let's see. So this is the cards in the middle here. If you've not been on my readings before, they represent an overall theme for the week. Then we'll jump into another tarot deck as well, which will beef out just a couple of areas. I am going to try and keep these readings fairly short. So I'm just looking for a card from the Rider-Waite Smith Tarot deck, and this will be an additional theme for the week. And you do have the Nine of Swords. Oops, but holding the card up the wrong way. So Gemini, there still may be some anxiety that is prevalent for you at the moment. Okay, so the interesting thing about the Nine of Swords is that sometimes these anxieties are built up in our head to be more than maybe what they actually are in reality. So you can see she's concerned about these 9 swords, but they're hanging safely on the wall. So they're at the way they are in their present state, they are no threat to her. So sometimes this anxiety, this idea of sleepless nights, worrying over and over and over again, is something that we are maybe being invited this week to see if we can let go of any of those anxieties. And the sense I'm getting is that this idea of going outside may well be a way for you to work through some of those anxieties as well. So there is nothing better than going outside if you can. As I said, if you're like me and you don't like the cold and the rain, it's difficult, but still extremely important. Okay. So the bulk of the reading I am going to, or I guess it is the bulk of the reading, but the rest of the reading I'm going to be using the Tarot of Curious Creatures by Chris Ann. So let's just see what we have. The first card I'm going to look for is the energy that's coming into the week for you. Now this could be energy from last week, or it could be energy from a couple of months. It could even be longer term than that. Okay. The energy you have coming in this week is the World. So you really should be, with this energy, Gemini, feeling like you've got the world at your fingertips, okay? The world is about accomplishments and achievements. It's the end of cycles, but it's about acknowledging all of the work that you've done along the way. What I love about this card too is the beautiful meditative, and I'll see if I can get that a little bit closer and focus in, the beautiful meditative look that is on that fox's face. So I'm holding it crooked into the light. I'm having a shocker this morning, Gemini. So what this is telling me is that maybe you've been doing some meditative work as well that has allowed you to get to this point of closure. You might be closing off some cycles. You might be closing off things in your life that no longer serve you, and you're looking to start a new journey. So at the end, the World is the end of the major arcana. So it's the end of the Fool's journey. So you will be stepping from this energy into a new journey. Now this has been a consistent message for most of the signs for the longest time, I've got to say. So it does feel like very much a collective energy that there's a lot of us that are going through this idea of closing out things that don't serve us and moving into things that do. Okay. So the energy coming out of the week, and this is moving forward into, as I said, it could be similar to the energy coming in. It could be next week, next month, next year. So it is future energies, future possibilities. The energy moving out of this week into future possibilities is the Justice card and the Chariot. Okay, so there is this sense of karmic justice that will be coming to you. There is this sense with the Chariot that you are on a mission. You've got somewhere you want to go, and you know how to get there. You know where you want to go. You know which direction. You know how fast. You're in complete control here. So I do feel like, this Nine of Swords is really only a temporary energy. I feel like for some of us that we've really been through the hard yards, and I think some of us are looking for this karmic justice. We're kind of, beating our head against the wall going, when is it going to balance out? When is it going to become fair? Like, I've done all the right things. I'm a good person, and when's it going to be my turn? And so this Justice card is reminding us to hold that faith, keep that faith, It'd be interesting to see if the star comes out with that idea of keeping the faith, that you will be protected and divinely guided and looked after and provided for. And I get it. It's really hard to keep, when we're in this Nine of Swords energy, when we've got all these desires and maybe we're not seeing them come into fruition. It can be really frustrating because we just want to see the results. But these two energies are saying that this is coming for you, okay? There isn't really a time frame on it. I would absolutely say it's not next week. It would certainly be into the months. I wouldn't say it's as far as a year, but it would be more than 3 months, okay? That's the sense that is coming through. So the next card out you have is the Hermit. Now, this is loosely in the position. So the rest of the cards that I'm going to draw, I loosely consider their position in the layout. It is more about the overall energy of all of the cards together and the intuitive messages that are coming through. But loosely, this sits in the position of obstacles and blocks, gifts and strengths this week. So the sense I am getting for this card for you is that, and again, I'm being drawn back to, I'll just put this card down, this beautiful meditative face on this fox here. And so I'm being told that, and I know, and I'm hearing some of you say, I've already done this, Aurelia. But I see you like having this kind of space where you're going inside, where you're listening to your higher self, you're connecting in with your connection with Source, who is you, and really just examining what it is that makes you shine. So what your internal light is, what it is that lights you up and sparks you up, okay? So I do feel like this may be a gift for you this week. You may have some forced time away, but in any case, or you may choose to sort of step away and have some time alone to really kind of deep dive, sense I'm getting. But whatever the case is, it's this way of leveling up. So it's this way of, tapping into that divine connection and tapping into finding your inner light, okay? So that's absolutely a strength that is coming through for you this week. Okay, so just a couple more cards. As I said, I will try and keep these readings fairly short. You do have the Five of Wands. This is in the position of career and finances. So in terms of career and finances, there may be some competition. There may be some fairly heavy-duty training that's going on this week as well. So some practicing of your craft, okay? What we can see in this particular card, sometimes people see the Five of Wands as a little bit of conflict. What we can see in this particular card is that these guys are, they're standing on stilts and they're kind of pulling and froing with this stick. So they are in a way training, okay? So they're training their skills, they're honing their skills. And the other thing that this particular Five of Wands talks about is to remember that when we're doing this work, so whether it is training or whether it is competition, so we may be kind of in competition to find our placement, find our sturdy feet. But the idea is to remember that it's all part of the journey and life is still meant to be fun, okay? So even if you are faced with some conflict or competition or some heavy-duty training, just try and embrace that that fun side of it. I won't say joyful because that's not really the right word, but try and look at it a little bit more lightly, if you will. Stay light on your feet like those guys are. Okay. So let's see what else is coming out for my beautiful Geminis. I've put that beautiful blue lotus oil all over my hands. I think it's made the cards a little bit sticky, so that was a little bit remiss of me to do that. You know, we live and learn. So I am struggling to shuffle this morning, Gemini. I might have to pull a couple of cards. Yeah, okay. Okay. So the next card out we have for you is the Emperor. And this is in the position of your health. And this is health in terms of body, mind, and soul. So Gemini, you should be feeling pretty good on all levels, okay? As I said, I know this is not going to fit for everyone, but hopefully it fits for you. Hopefully you're feeling like you're bossing it up, both physically and mentally and emotionally. So the Emperor is someone who, you know, they're extremely confident, they're extremely capable. They are, you know, they're very solid and secure. They can be a little bit dictatorial, so maybe just watch that in terms of your emotional health. Maybe just make sure you're not being, I am getting this sense that maybe some of us are being a little bit snappy or almost haughty, being kind of taking on this attitude of better than. So just be mindful of that in terms of your mental and emotional health. But physically, you should be feeling like you are completely bossing it up. Now, you do have the Five of Cups as well. This is in the position of relationships. So you might be feeling a little bit this sense of almost loss or grief, a bit of sadness around relationships. And again, I know that for many of us, relationships have absolutely shifted and changed incredibly over the last 2 years, you know, potentially more, but definitely during the last 2 years. We've had lots of changes in relationships. We've had some relationships fall away. We've had other relationships develop. So what I would remind you here with this card is that if you've got relationships that have fallen away, like these two cups here that have fallen over and spilt, you know, just remember that you do still have these three here that are behind you that you're not actually seeing. So it is a reminder for us to don't get stuck in that crying over spilt milk, literally. Focus on what we do have. Now, the other thing I do want to say too is that you've, on this end of the reading, so towards the end of the week, we've got those two fives. So the fives are about change, okay? They're a pivot point, and they're kind of that pivot point into, you know, the road home, if you will. So after the five, obviously, we've got the six. We're nearly there to 10, you know, like it's, you're more than halfway through these journeys, these particular journeys of the Five of Wands and the Five of Cups. So Gemini, in all, it's an extremely strong, powerful reading. So other than those two fives, you have, with the rest of these tarot cards, you have, what have we got? 5 major arcana. So when we're looking at a number of major arcana that have come through in a reading, it does signify big changes in the cards for you. So, and you know, and they seem to be good changes, okay? They're extremely positive cards in terms of the major arcana. Some people are a little bit challenged sometimes by the Hermit card because, you know, if they're social by nature, that may be a little intimidating for them. But in any case, the other side of that message, as I said, it's about having that quiet time, having that space to find your inner light. So absolutely, it's a beautiful energy. and it all looks really good moving forward for you. I haven't really I didn't really come back to this desires card in any great detail, but I do feel like that's really coming back to the Lionsgate portal for us this week. And it's about looking at what it is that you desire. What are your goals, passions, cravings that you desire that you could potentially put into this Lionsgate portal energy, Lionsgate portal, and have that manifest and be returned to you. All right, my darling Geminis, I do hope you've enjoyed the reading. If you have, please do like, share and subscribe. And I look forward to seeing you next week. All right, my friends. Bye-bye.